Well, Zach, unlike the president's son, Hunter, I am actually an expert in the energy industry. And the president claiming that there's lots of evidence, well, to put it in the president's parlance, that's all malarkey. This is the typical playbook that we get out of the Democrats every time we see high energy costs. I was writing about this 3 months ago to clients, telling them to be prepared. Eventually, with the rise of inflation, which part of that is energy, eventually the White House is going to ignore all of the policies, all of the rhetoric that we've heard for the past year that has caused a good deal of this price inflation at the pump. They're going to ignore all that and they're going to turn around and what? Blame big oil. So here we go. This is highly predictable. We saw it coming months ago. And again, to repeat, there is no evidence. It is all malarkey. Let's keep in mind that we had a pretty big hurricane that hit the Gulf of Mexico refinery epicenter at the end of August. Over the past 2 weeks, still, 28% of U.S. crude oil production is still shuttered. We've lost 26 million barrels over this time of absolute crude production, to the point where over the summer, instead of going to Texas, instead of going to North Dakota, instead of going to the States and to Canada to ask them to produce more oil, what did we do? We went to OPEC. We went to Saudi Arabia, Iran. We went to Russia to ask them to increase crude oil production. So this is clearly being driven by politics and by a severe disruption to the supply of oil. There is no, and I repeat, no manipulation. There are no bad actors in this market. The only bad actors are the policies coming out of this White House that are helping to drive oil prices higher.
I mean, with that said, I don't think there's any indication the Biden administration is going to, take their gas off the pedal in terms of this transition to cleaner energy, pulling back on oil production. If that's the case, if you take the dynamics at face value as you've laid them out, how much higher do you think oil prices go?
Well, we are certainly setting the seeds down the road for going back to, and I never thought I'd be saying this given the fact that the United States was a major producer just 2 years ago, but I never thought I would say we'd see plus $100 oil anytime in the near future. That's certainly the path we are heading on going ahead as we continue to disincentivize investment in the oil and gas industry. There was only one way to go. And let's face it, oil demand is here. It is still, I grant it, a twilight industry, but it's not going away over the next 1-2 generations. And as we continue to pull back investments in this resource, there's only one way for prices to go.
Yeah, $100 oil would be pretty significant.